Hi, my name is Marcus, and today we're making steak and potatoes. The best ones. So I started cooking when I was really young, so maybe I was 7 or 8. I was helping my parents in the kitchen. I always liked to make cookies with my mom. I would help my grandma make plátanos, fried plantains, and I would just love the environment in the kitchen because, I guess in my family that's kind of where the family is centered, in the kitchen with food. So that's how we show our love, and I just love that. New favorite meal at home, we're making steak, chicken legs, braised Brussels sprouts, and some brown potatoes. So for the steak, you're gonna need a nice big fat USDA prime ribeye steak. You're gonna need butter, of course. You're gonna be doing some basting. Make sure you have some, preferably not olive oil, because you want something that can get up to a high heat. You're gonna want garlic, you're gonna want thyme and rosemary as well, because they give steak a really nice flavor, and a lot of salt, because you make sure you wanna have a good crust. For the Brussels sprouts, you're gonna want your smoked bacon, brown sugar, Brussels sprouts, of course, and some thyme. And then for the potatoes, you're gonna want, I added black truffles. If you guys don't have it, don't worry about it. Thyme, rosemary, those just a few things, but they all turn out really good. And then for the chicken legs, you're gonna want, again, garlic, butter, oil, and thyme. Brussels sprouts, first thing you want to do is make sure they're washed clean, take off all the ugly leaves. Then you can salt them to soften them a little bit before you cook them. Get your pan hot, add your smoked bacon, and let the fat come out of that. You want all the fat to come out, you just want the little pieces of bacon. Get that in the pan, let the fat reduce, let it get out, and then take that fat and add it to another pan because we're gonna use that for the potatoes. Then you're gonna go ahead and add the Brussels sprouts in. Once the bacon is all cooked and you've got the fat in another pan, add some more salt, pepper, and just let those brown, let those cook. Make sure you stir because you don't want it to burn, but you want it to get really dark. Then you're gonna take the potatoes that you've chopped up and washed and cubed, and you're gonna throw them into the pan with that bacon fat. Make sure you add garlic, thyme, and rosemary because that all goes great with potatoes. Make sure you salt them, of course, and just let them brown and let them soften. And then once you have those two going, they're gonna cook each for potatoes maybe for another 10 minutes till they're all browned. Brussels sprouts maybe for 15. And then you're gonna get the potatoes in the oven at 350 degrees. Stick them in there, let them sit for like half an hour. Same thing with the Brussels sprouts. Once your Brussels sprouts are done in the pan, cover them with the tin foil, put them in the pan, put them in the oven, and you're good to go. You're gonna want to get your chicken thighs, make sure they're washed well, and salt, make sure to season them salt, pepper heavily, and then get your pan ready. So you're gonna want to add maybe a couple tablespoons of butter to the pan. Make sure it's really, really hot because you want to get them nice and golden brown and crispy. And make sure to add garlic, rosemary, and thyme to the pan. So get your butter really hot, put your chicken legs in, and let them brown. So once they start maybe 2 or 3 minutes on one side, flip them over another 2 or 3 minutes so they're nice and golden brown. Then you want to cover them, but throw them in the oven at 350, and they're gonna stay in there for about half an hour. And the steak, last but not least, of course, you need your steak. So you need to get another pan hot, preferably another cast iron. Get that really hot. But for the cast iron steak, we're gonna use oil because we do need the temperature to get really, really hot. You add your oil. Once that's hot and smoking almost, you're gonna add garlic along with your herbs. Once the oil is piping hot and all your ingredients are in, put the steak in, and then you're ready. So get your heat. Get your pan on high, throw the steak in, let it sit maybe 3-4 minutes on each side until it has a really, really beautiful crust. Depending on the size of your steak, you might want to stick it in the oven depending on how you want your doneness, but I did about 3 or 4 minutes on each side, and that was it for, a nice medium rare. And, make sure to take your steak out of the pan when it's done. Let it rest on the counter. Do not touch the steak until it is done. 10 or 15 minutes of resting, it's gonna need that. Once those 10 or 15 minutes are over, you can go ahead and cut in the steak. Don't worry, it'll still be hot. All your stuff should be ready on time. Your chicken legs will be done. Your Brussels sprouts will be done, your potatoes will be done, and you're ready to eat. So enjoy. I try to learn as much as I can on my own, reading, watching YouTube. You learn the most about cooking, I think, but definitely whenever you're in the kitchen, or whenever I'm in the kitchen, my grandmother will be over my shoulder saying, oh, you're doing that wrong, or whatever. Kind of doing small catering gigs. I got more into it after maybe 8th grade when I started catering to this one art exhibit in Beverly Hills, GP Deva. But since then, I've had my own pop-up restaurant, and I think that's probably the epitome of where I've been wanting to reach for the longest time, because that's what I've been wanting to do for so long. I really want to just have people enjoy the food I make. I want to be successful in, my restaurant career, but I definitely think making sure people enjoy the food that you make, that you're enjoying what you're doing, is the most important thing.